Hey there, it's me Eden. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and visit my Patreon page for early access, link in the description. 3 passes with the razor over his face, then a 4th just to be sure. He scrutinized his reflection. Black smudges of mascara and eyeliner clung to his skin, remnants of last night's makeup. His lips still carried faint traces of bright red lipstick, the same shade he'd reapplied multiple times during his shift. Clearly, his cleansing routine needed improvement. But hadn't Margaret already promised to teach him? By the time he reset his alarm clock for 9:30 a.m., it was already 4:30. He rushed out of his flat, knowing he had to be on time. Getting into the rubber serving maid's outfit alone would be impossible. He'd need help from the other girls. At the entrance to the beer cellar, Patricia Peach Crawford let him in. Her dress was a flawless nod to 1960s style, a black silk shift, trimmed in cream along the neckline and seams. But it was her boots that stole his attention, black patent leather, knee-high, with sleek cream piping running down the center. "Good afternoon, Maria," she greeted, her tone laced with amusement. "My, you look out of breath. Ran all the way here, did you?" Her perfume was as impeccable as her makeup, a delicate frost pink lipstick perfectly matching her polished demeanor. "Yes, Miss Crawford," he replied, catching his breath. "I didn't want to be late." "Not tonight." She offered a cool, knowing smile. "Do you like my outfit, Maria?" He hesitated before nodding. "Yes. It's very pretty." Another smile. Patricia lifted a stack of folders, then gestured toward a glossy black handbag perched on the bar. "Be a darling and carry my bag up to the office, would you?" He picked it up by its long handles, its sheer femininity making him hesitate. She let him stand there, holding it, before adding, "You're a natural, sweetheart. You do know where my office is, don't you?" It wasn't a question. It was an order. He followed her upstairs, hyper-aware of the way he was unintentionally swinging the handbag. His mind snagged on an odd realization: the bag perfectly matched her outfit. Why was he even thinking about that? Halfway to the office, they passed a brewery delivery driver. His eyes skimmed over Patricia, legs, dress, boots, before landing on Mark, standing there with an oversized, unmistakably feminine handbag. Patricia smiled. "Thanks, George. Heidi's in the cellar if you need to settle up with her." Then, as if an afterthought, she added, "Oh, I almost forgot, have you met my new girl, Maria?" George barely held back a chuckle as he shook his head and hurried downstairs, laughter trailing behind him. And just like that, Mark understood. She could have asked him to carry the folders. But she didn't. She loved humiliating him. Patricia Crawford made him stand there, handbag in hand, for a full minute as she arranged the folders on her desk. Then, settling herself atop it, she swung her booted legs idly, watching him. Mark waited, expecting her to take the bag back. Instead, she smirked. "Now, that's no way for a girl to carry a bag," she chided. "Try putting it over your shoulder, dear." Suppressing a sigh, he lifted the long handles and slipped the bag onto his left shoulder. It felt ridiculous, but he knew better than to argue. "And hold the bottom of the bag too, sweetie." Mark grasped the corner of the bag as instructed, but Patricia sked and got up, her manicured fingers adjusting his grip. "That's the proper way, Maria. Never forget it, especially when you're out and about. Now, walk across the room. Keep your posture. And don't let the bag slip." Heat crept up his face, but he obeyed, taking slow, measured steps. "More ladylike," she ordered. "Shorter steps." Just then, a knock sounded at the door. Patricia gestured for him to continue practicing as she answered it. Heidi stepped inside, her gaze immediately landing on Mark. He turned redder under her scrutiny, acutely aware of the ridiculous image he must have made, walking back and forth in an exaggerated feminine style with a handbag over his shoulder. Patricia chuckled. Maria's practicing her walk, Heidi. I must say, she's not too convincing, is she? Why, she's not even wearing heels. Mark's stomach tightened as Heidi smirked, her attention shifting to his hands clutching the handbag. Only then did he fully take in her attire, a glossy black PVC alpine maid's dress and knee-high patent platform boots. A fresh wave of humiliation crashed over him. In mere minutes, he'd be dressed the exact same way. Patricia caught his reaction, exchanged a knowing glance with Heidi, then turned to him. You like what you see, Maria, she teased. I can't wait to see you in yours. With a cruel smile, she slipped the handbag from his shoulder and added, incidentally, men go wild for girls in outfits like this. Just wait, you'll find out soon enough. Heidi's smirk deepened. She motioned toward the door. Come on, Maria. You're going to need some help getting dressed tonight. Mark hesitated, glancing at Patricia. Only when she gave a dismissive nod did he follow Heidi out. As they descended the stairs, his eyes kept flicking to her dress, how tightly it hugged her figure, how the PVC gleamed under the lights. Would his look the same? At his locker, Heidi handed him the dress and boots. Grab your things. We'll get you ready somewhere quieter. She led him into a small shower room and, without hesitation, ordered, strip. Mark's throat went dry. Seeing no way out, he began removing his clothes, one by one, until every piece of his male identity lay discarded on the floor. Heidi took her time inspecting him, starting with his face. She ran a fingertip along his jaw, nodding in approval. Not bad, she said. But go over it once more. And only after you shower, with this. She handed him a familiar bottle of perfumed shower gel, the same one she'd used on him before. Then, without warning, she added, and while you're in there, take care of your little problem. Mark stiffened, but Heidi was already busy laying out his dress and makeup. The heavy floral scent of the soap filled the air as he stepped under the hot spray. Even now, he struggled to reconcile the feeling of his own skin, soft, smooth, utterly hairless. When he finished, Heidi was waiting with a towel. She helped him dry off, then dusted his body liberally with talcum powder. This will help you get the dress on. Rubber looks gorgeous, but trust me, wearing it is another matter. Mark sat at the dressing table as she began applying his makeup. He watched in the mirror as Maria emerged, foundation, contouring, dramatic eyeshadow. But when she reached for the lipstick, his stomach sank. The same crimson red. He sighed. Heidi smirked. You'll get plenty of attention in that dress, but stag nights have rules, Maria. That means ruby red lips. Now, spritz yourself with this perfume. I'll get your underwear ready. He copied the way he'd seen women apply perfume, even rubbing his wrists together. Then came the nails. Heidi meticulously glued a set of temporary French manicure tips onto his fingers, not too long, but long enough to be noticeable. Finally, she held up a severe-looking pair of undergarments. These will help keep things tucked away. We wouldn't want any embarrassing surprises, would we? Mark took them hesitantly. His new nails made it difficult to put them on, and when he did, he was immediately aware of how tight they were. Tuck yourself properly, Heidi instructed. His face burned as he did his best to comply before pulling the briefs snugly into place. Then came the dress. The moment he stepped into it, he knew it was going to be tight. Heidi tugged it up his body, adjusting the bodice to give him the illusion of a bust. He barely had time to catch his breath before she handed him the boots. "Put these on before we lace you up." He tried to sit, but even with the dress unlaced, he found the PVC too stiff to allow much movement. Awkwardly, he bent down, fumbling with the laces. Heidi huffed. "So unfeminine, Maria. You must always carry yourself like a lady. Miss Crawford would not approve of such clumsy antics." Mark straightened. "Now, stand up straight while I lace you in." It wasn't a request. It was an order. As she began pulling the laces tight, he cast a final glance down at his feet, the glossy black boots, the sharply pointed toes. How was he supposed to last the whole night in this? Heidi pulled the laces tighter, and Mark had to bite back a cry. "Breathe in," she ordered, though his ribcage already felt like it was on the verge of collapse under the crushing pressure of the bodice. When she finally finished lacing him into the rubber dress, he was allowed to step to the mirror. The girl staring back at him was unrecognizable, wrapped in a glossy black serving uniform, black patent ankle boots completing the look. Heidi nodded approvingly. "Take your time adjusting, Maria," she advised. "And remember, you're a lady now, not some foolish man gawking at women. Maybe after tonight, you'll learn to appreciate the female experience a little more." Only now did it fully hit him, this outfit wasn't just about dressing up. It was a spectacle, a performance. And tonight, he was the one being put on display. The sharp click-clack of stiletto heels echoed through the room, snapping him out of his thoughts. Patricia Crawford had entered, her dress now concealed beneath a candy-pink raincoat. A matching handbag dangled from her arm, making Mark instinctively wince. She took one look at him and beamed. "Oh yes, very attractive, dear," she cooed. "I told you, Heidi, Maria looks absolutely hot in this outfit." Mark blushed as her eyes swept over him, assessing every detail. Yes, I'm so glad we have the opportunity to try you out on a stag night," she mused. "You're going to be very popular." His stomach twisted. Was she planning to put him front of house instead of behind the bar? Before he could process the thought, Patricia stepped closer, pressing a single finger against his painted lips. "Keep these perfect tonight, dear." Then, with a smirk, she slipped a lipstick tube between his upper curves, tucking it into the dress. "That's where you'll keep your lipstick, no room for a makeup bag in that outfit. Now, I must be off." She winked at Heidi. "I'm sure Heidi will bring you up to speed on tonight's drill. It's quite different from the usual, I assure you." Her heels tapped rhythmically against the floor as she turned to leave. Mark exhaled slowly, trying to relax, but the chill of the lipstick tube against his skin was a constant reminder of his situation. Just as Patricia reached the door, she suddenly paused and glanced back. "Oh, Heidi, there was a young lady on the phone just now. Margaret something. She wanted to speak with Maria. Left a message, something about not forgetting Saturday morning." Mark's pulse spiked. Please subscribe my channel for the next part. And visit my Patreon page for early access.